Okay, first thing we want to do with this project is we want to save it. File, save as. Name we save it with is first initial art 141 summer SU 2021. Project 3. Not project 4, project 3. Okay. And we're going to save that to our desktop. In my case, I'm replacing. Okay, a couple of things you want to check on. First, go to the bottom of the toolbar. Go to normal. So we talked about bleed. We've talked about bleed in previous classes. We're talking about bleed here. Bleed is for any object that runs to the very edge of the page. It needs to actually run over the edge of the page because printers can't print to the edge of the page without the ink then migrating places that it shouldn't be. So the printer always, if you're printing to the edge of the page, the printer always has to print on a larger sheet of paper. So there's a nice white margin all the way around so that they don't have ink running where they don't want it. And so they're then going to trim your poster out. And in order to trim your poster out and not have to be really absolutely perfect about it, there is something called bleed, which creates a little bit of slop in the system. And so you can trim it out, not be perfect, not get little white slivers of paper showing when they trim it out. So we always run anything that goes to the edge of the page over about 1/8 of an inch, 0.125 IN or 0.P9. And so if you notice here, when I set up the document, I set up a document bleed. And so we get a little red line. Let's see. This is the edge of the page. That's the edge of the page. So we take this here, but then we bring it all the way to the red mark, and then it's properly bled. Okay. Secondly, I'm going to go to my pages, and we were doing 3 color versions to play around with the colors. So you want to delete the versions that you don't want to hand in. Just hand in the final version. Okay. And so if there were additional pages like that, we'd select that additional page, go to the bottom of the pages palette. There's a trash can, and we can click delete, and that deletes. And then I'm going to hit save on this again. You can always tell if a project is saved if, well, for instance, if I do that, you'll notice that there's now a little asterisk next to the name. That means it's not properly saved. Delete that again, save. And excuse me while I get back to my document. Okay, and you can see the asterisk went away when I saved. Okay, next. We're going to go to File. We're going to go to Package, down near the bottom of the File drop down. I'm going to click on Package. It'll usually give me an error message if I'm missing something. When I do go to save it, I get, it tells me that it's going to copy fonts, it's going to copy any linked graphics, it's going to update the graphic links in the package. It's going to include an IDML file, which is a file that we use if you try to open your file on a computer that only has an older version of InDesign, which is possible when we are actually in the classroom, because usually they don't automatically update the software all the times, while you probably do at home. So if you find you can't open your InDesign file at school, then you want to save an IDML version of your file, and then you can open the IDML file instead of the standard INDD file. And then we're going to include a PDF, and I'm going to click package, and I'm going to replace that package. In this case, it's not going to let me. So give me a second while I go back here. So I'm going to take and delete that. Okay. Go back to here, go to package. Click OK. This is a warning. So if you paid for a font and you're sending it to somebody else, that person does not have the copyright to the font until they've actually paid for their copy of it. So don't send your fonts to clients or friends or anybody else. They should be buying their own fonts. You can send your fonts to a printer because that's considered generally accepted practice, because they're generally not using that font to then create new work. They're just using it to print your file. Click OK. So it just saved the document. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a version of the PDF that has bleed and crops. And so I'm going to then go to File, Adobe PDF Presets, press Quality. I'm going to click Save. Notice that I'm inside of the packaged folder that I just created. You want to make sure you use InDesign document name as the output file name is checked on. I click Save. I'm going to click Replace because there's already a PDF that's been created, but I want to add a couple of features to it. So we've got it set to Pages, which is the preferable version for this poster. We turn on View PDF after exporting so that we can look at the PDF and make sure that it's correct before we send it to somebody. Then we're going to go to Marks and Bleeds, turn on Crop Marks, turn on Use Document Bleed Settings. So that check mark on, that check mark on, click Export. And here, since I told it to show me the poster, when it was done, it's shown me the poster, the PDF, and you'll notice that I have crop marks, and you'll notice that the edge of the page bleeds over the crop marks. I can make, if I hit Control 0 or Command 0, I can then see the whole poster, make sure everything is there, that everything's worked properly. And then I'm going to close that, go to my desktop. Here's my folder. I've got an IDML file. I've got an INDD file. I've got a PDF. And I have fonts. And so that is now ready. If I go up one level, click on that file. On the Mac, I go to File, and I go to Compress. That file's now compressed, and then this zip file can be uploaded to the proper project.